Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinars where we're looking at how you create record templates that work for you. Now, as a small introduction, I'm sure you guys are fully aware by now, but my name is Milo. I'm one of the support analysts here, and I'm going to be just going through today's topic with you. Now, before we start, we do have our program of webinars for this year, where you can see that the next couple that we've got are coming up within April, where we're going to be looking at marketing campaigns and mail shots. And then later on in April, we're going to be having a look at the field updater. But let's look at today's webinar. So the agenda for today is I'm first going to actually show you guys our case portal, so how you can actually contact support in the future when you do want to raise a case with us. And this is simply because from Monday, this will be the way that new cases on support will have to be created. Once I've gone through that, I'll be going through what record templates are. I'm going to show you guys how you can actually create a new record template, and also just how you would go through all those things. So let me start with the case portal. So when you are logged into Workbooks, the way that you would get to our customer hub is when you press the user menu down at the bottom and you go to the help icon. What will happen is a new tab will open up. And when that opens up, if you are a support contact, you'll see this support section on the left. If you're not a support contact, you would see just the information that's here on the right. Now, for those support contacts in this support section, we do have an option of your Workbooks account, where if you go into that, just wait for this to load, you'll be able to just check on information such as who your authorized support contacts are, license information, and also your storage. And again, when you click onto one of these, you'll see when this loads that it will list off who your support contacts are. Now, this is for a dummy database, so these are not real people, but you get the idea of what's there. Now, if I go back to the customer hub and I go to our case portal, when I click into this, what you would see within here when it decides to load is you'll see all of the current open cases that you would have. And you'd be able to click into them and see what updates and what has been shared within there. You can also go to your closed cases so that you can actually look into those and review any of the past cases just to see what information you have there. And then obviously you've got your option to raise a new case. Now, when you've raised a new case, you'll be asked to just put a quick summary and then a description of what you want to raise. You'll be able to tell us what the impact is. If you do have any exception references, you're advised to put them within the exception reference, and this just helps us be able to actually look it up and get that information quicker. And if you do have your own case reference that you want to keep everything logged with, you can add that here. And as you can see, you can also upload any screenshots. Obviously, when you are putting in the description, your question or description, we do ask that you provide as much information as possible. And this just helps us look into your case quicker and speed things up a lot. And then once you raise the case, you'll see it within your open cases. But that is our customer hub and the information you can see. One thing I do want to point out is while you can see that I've got the user menu down here and I can go to help, if you are using one of our other themes, you would find that when you go to the start menu, go down to the bottom, you will see the little help icon, or alternatively, you do also have the help icon here on the desktop. So that is our customer hub. So with that shown, let's get into what record templates are. So record template allows you to create new records where you've actually got information filled in. And you can create record templates for any record that you have that you can create normally. Now, you'll also remember from our last webinar where we talked about form layouts that you can add rules to your form layouts. If your form layout depends on a certain value in a certain field, using a record template will actually allow you to create a new record that already uses that form layout. So with that being said, I think it's probably better if I just show you examples of record templates so that I can go through everything and you can kind of get an idea for this. So a good example of a record template is if I go to my start menu and go to new and I go into my tasks, if I select task, you guys will see that a new task is created where I've got some values in these fields, like with the type and the status. But here, you'll also see that I've got a few other options. And these are record templates that have already been created. Now, if I go to phone call, and when this opens up, if I actually put these side by side, you can see that where I've selected phone call, it's got a different value for the type. And that shows you what record templates can do. They can pre-populate that value. So let me go in and show you an example of how you can create your own record template. Now, on this database, I know that if I create a new opportunity, that one of the values that would be populated is the type, where it's automatically put as repeat business. But what if I wanted to put in new business? Well, while yes, I could just create a new opportunity and then make sure that I changed it, if it was something that I was doing regularly and creating opportunities for new business, I would want to have a record template just so I don't need to change that every time. So let me show you how to actually do that. So what I'd first need to do is go to my start menu, go down to my configuration. And within here, I'd go to my customization here on the left, and I'd go to my record types. And this shows you all the different records that you've got access to. So next, I'd go into opportunities. And when this opens up, we have our tab here for record templates. And you'll see that, yes, I do already have one, but I want to show you how to create a new one. To do that, I'd simply go new record template. And then when this comes up, I'd obviously want to give it a name. So I'm going to select new business. And what I would advise is to always add a description. I'm not going to in this one, but it is something that I recommend doing. Then next, down here, I've got a list of all of my fields that I have on an opportunity. And you can see that they're grayed out because no values are being applied. So what I would do is I'd find the field that I'd want to populate a value, click into it. So I'm going to select my type. And this opens up a new window where first I need to make sure that I tick apply value. And then because the apply value is a pick list, I've got a choice here of which one I want to select. And I said that I wanted one to show new business. Once I've got that, I can save and close. And you can see that it's now appeared here at the top. Now, obviously, if you do have a record template that you want to make changes to, you can always just click into it and you can make the changes there. Now, obviously, one of the things that I've seen a few times is someone who's created a new record template, but they can't actually see it when they go to the menu. So the thing that you need to make sure you do is make sure that you tick published. And once you've done that, you can simply save and close. And you can see that it's now appeared here. If I go to my main and just simply save that, and now if I go to my start menu and I go to new and go to opportunities, we can see that new business is there. Now, I also want to point out this is not the only way to see them. I could go to the opportunities landing page, and I also have the option up here of new business. And when I click into it, just to show you guys that it would start to create a new opportunity. And it would show the new business on there. Now, I mentioned earlier that occasionally you would have times where you've got a certain form layout that you want to make sure applies when you create your new record. And a good example of this on the database that I'm using is if I go back to my configuration and I go to my customization and go into record types, that I know on here that on the people, I've got a form layout that is only applied to employees of this organization. So what I'm just doing now is just going into that form layout so I can actually see what the rules are for this form layout. And I can see that it says when the employer equals my UK demo organization or my US demo organization. So in this example, if I wanted to create a record template so that I can use it to create a new employee and have a person record for them, I would want to have it so that the employer shows as my UK demo organization. So for this, I go back to my customized person, I go into my record templates, and I go new record template, just as I did before. And I'm going to call this one employee, and I'm going to find my employer field. When I go apply value in here, I'm going to do a search for my UK demo organization. And I'm going to save and close that. I'm going to make sure that I press publish and then save and close this and then save this. And then if I now go to my start menu and go new person employee, as you can see, the My UK Demo organization has been applied there. And it's also using my employees form layout rather than one of the other ones. And from here, I can now fill out all of my details, add everything together, and it just makes things those couple of steps quicker so that I can create a new employee. Now, I've shown that I'm just adding one field, but actually, if I go back into my customized person and go into my record template, what I could do within here is I could apply multiple values. So I could add things like a middle name. I could add mobile numbers. I can add as many of these fields to my record template as possible. I'm not limited to just one. I've only kept it as one just to quickly show you that information. But those are record templates. And as I said, they're a way to make new records with certain information filled out that little bit quicker. So those are record templates. I just want to quickly go over again that for getting to the customer hub, that you would need to go to either the user menu and go to your help icon, or if you're using the clean theme, you'd simply go to the start menu and scroll down to the bottom where you'd also find the help icon. When you click on that, you'll have a new tab open up where if you're a support contact, you will see this information here on the left, where you'll have access to the case portal and also to your Workbooks account. If you go into that case portal, you will see information about your current open cases, but you'd also be able to see any closed cases. And then when going into raising a new case, you'll see the following information where you can just add the summary, the information, a more detailed approach to your query, and also how much of an impact, and even upload files for it. But let's recap for a record template. So record templates allow you to quickly create new records where you have pre-populated fields in there, and they can be created for most records. Now, obviously, with record templates, you can also tie them in with form layouts so that you can actually create a new record that uses a specific layout. You just need to make sure that you check out what the rules are for that layout before doing it. So let's have a quick see if there are any questions. Okay. So first question that I've got here is, what do you do when you're creating a custom record template that once you want to edit already has active fields and the admin is not able to remove them? So if you've got let me just go back into Workbooks. So as I did say with this, that you can create record templates for all of them. You can create them for custom records that you have. Now, the custom record would simply apply when you're creating a new one. It wouldn't go in and change any values for records that you've already created. So hopefully that sort of helps explain it. And I've got another one here from Paul. Can you include line items when creating record template and opportunities? Well, I'd say, Paul, for that one, let's go into my new business one that I created earlier. And one thing that you'll see here is we don't have any fields for the line items. So it's not something that you would be able to create here for that. You would need to look into another way of having those pre-populated, but it wouldn't be through a record template. And then I've got another one here from Deborah. How would you share a record template with a specific user group or user group? Good question there. So if I go into the record template that I've got already and open it up, within here, if I go to my settings, I've got my sharing policy, and within here, I can say who has access to it. So if I wanted to add this to, say, the everyone group, I can simply just go in, select everyone, and make sure that they've got read access for it. So that's how I would share a record template with other users and groups. So um, one thing that, Paul, just to come back to your question of how to include line items in the record templates, that's something that you could have is you could have pre-populated values within the form layout for your different line items. And then you can have a record template that basically uses that form layout that you've created. So as an example, if I went into my opportunities, balance and overview, that when this decides to load, there will be options within here where you can add default values for your line items. So within here, it's not showing it for that one, but you would be able to have the default values that are applied for the form layout, and then your record template, when you create it, would automatically use that form layout. So that appears to be all the questions. So I want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone for joining on that one. I have just been informed, Paul, that I had actually mentioned that wrong, and I do apologize. What I'll do is I'll reach out to you after this just to confirm what the correct information is. So thank you for joining. Our next webinar is looking at mastering marketing campaigns and mailing lists, and that will be on the 4th of April. Till then, if you do need any help, you can always go onto our knowledge base and look for the information on there. If you still need a little bit more help on there, you can use the custom hub, as I said, and from Monday, that will be the way that you'd need to do it, or you could talk to your account manager. We do also have recordings and videos that you can always go and check. And we do post our webinars online on our resources page, so you can go find them on there. But thank you everyone for attending today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next webinar.